السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، صلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا ثم ما بعد. Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, right now in Riyadh al-Salihin, he starts speaking about some of the ahkam, prohibitions related to buyu', which means transactions. So he says, Babu tahrimi bay' al-hadir lil-badi wa talaqqi al-rukban wal-bay' ala bay' akhih. And he mentioned other things. He said here, prohibition of malpractice in commerce. And he mentioned some examples and some practices. Here's one of them. قال وعن أنس رضي الله عنه نهى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يبيع حاضر لباد وإن كان أخاه لأبيه وأمه متفق عليه. In this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ forbade that a person in the city, means an urbanite, should make a deal on behalf of a villager on the commission, even if he is his real brother. Actually, he says his real brother means the brother of his father and his mother, the son of his father and his mother, basically. So again, he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he forbade that a person who is in the city should make a deal on behalf of a villager on commission, even if that person was your brother. What does it mean exactly? What do you guys understand so far? Nothing? Okay, let me put it in perspective in terms of historical kind of context, so we can understand if there are parallels that we can derive from in our time. Back in the days, people they used to be in small cities, right? In the villages, or maybe in the urban, in the countryside, in the desert, people they have quality products, right? They have the what you consider today is organic, fancy farm, kind of products, right? Whether it's eggs, milk, cheese, whatever that you get, and it's so special, different from what's there in the market, right? Because this is something that's homemade, very well done, and so on. So when these villagers they come to the city, they come and they have their products, they have them in their hands, and they want to sell them in the market. The market is open for the people, and there are some brokers, like wholesalers, basically. So what do? They used to do what they call it talaqqi rukban. They sit at the boundaries of the city, like sitting by the gates of the city. The moment one of those villagers come in, what do they say to the villager? What do you have? Okay, you have this? How much you want for this? Well, I don't know. I'll give you $5. But in the market, how much would it actually they can get if they get into the market? $50. But because the villagers, $5 for them, they're coming from the countryside, $5. Wow, that's awesome. I'll take it. Because he doesn't want to deal with the hassle of sitting in the marketplace and selling there for the whole day. And so, no, I'd rather just take an easy bargain and just get home, right? Sounds fair in that sense. However, the Prophet ﷺ says, don't do that. That's not allowed. Until that villager arrives in the marketplace. What's the significance of this villager arriving in the marketplace? He knows the price. Now he would know the real price. So the Prophet ﷺ, he forbade the urbanized, the people of the city, to be the brokers for those in the village until that villager goes into the marketplace. So when he goes into the marketplace, he would know the prices. If that villager, he still sees the price at $50, but for him $5 is a big deal, and he wants to take it for $5, give it for $5. But when they go to the market, they might change their mind, right? Because come on, if I can get it for $50, no, I'd rather just give me then 20 at least, or 30, to create some fairness in the marketplace. Is that clear, Jama'ah? That's what the Prophet ﷺ forbade the people from dealing with that. How can we use this concept and this now hukum in this hadith in our contemporary time? Yeah, Jama'ah. Like what? Give an example. Someone comes from Kashmir. He brings with him the best Kashmir, fabric. How much does it basically cost me? Is it cheap or expensive?
Very cheap.
It's expensive here, but over there, how much does it cost them? Very cheap, but he's expensive. So if this guy who coming from Kashmir, bringing mashallah this fancy stuff, and he arrives at the airport in New York, and he looking around, he has no clue where to go. He sees a guy, looks a Muslim, mashallah, say, hey, what are you doing? Says, well, I just came from Kashmir, I have this stuff, and I want to sell it, inshallah ta'ala. So what is it exactly? Oh, I have all that stuff. Really? How much? I have that much. Okay, how much you want for this? I don't know. How much does it cost over here? You don't worry about it. I can give you $1,000 right now. How about that? $1,000? MashaAllah. Done. Deal. But in the market, this bargain actually is a deceit, because you can get 20,000 perhaps for the amount that he sold for $1,000. So this is a scenario that's considered haram. Okay, but is that fair? So does these villagers, do they have access to the market today?
Yes, they have.
Yeah, Jama'ah, do they have access to the market? Huh? How about the internet? Does the internet replace the concept of market? In general, it does. In general, it does. Meaning, if someone, let's say he's in China, are you allowed, being in America, are you allowed to become a broker for someone who's in China? And you become broker here in America? Are you? Exactly, but why is that? Even though the guy is not from here. He's like one of those Bedouins who's going to come to this market. But that concept doesn't apply, because he would or she would know the prices based on the internet. You can go and check the prices and so on, specifically if you are well versed as a business person. But tiny villages and those small merchants, business people who don't have access to the internet, these are the people that this hukum in its literal meaning can apply to them as well. So whether in a small town versus a big town, a village versus a big city, it still applies to them. And I know maybe not in America in particular, but in other countries, this hukum still applies, because most of these villagers don't have access to the internet, so they have no clue. And they still use the exact same practice. They grab their stuff, they put it on the back of their donkey, and they come bring it maybe to the city. And for them, going to a bigger town, it's just like going to heaven. Subhanallah. Therefore, the hadith still applies on the micro and the macro level. But of course, each one of them is depending on their circumstances. So the Prophet ﷺ in this hadith is kind of establishing the hukum of fairness, being fair and being just, and not taking advantage of those who are less fortunate. So therefore, even though you know that this person, he has a great mashallah, he would be benefit from $50, that's not fair to give them $50 for a bargain that just few yards away they can get it for maybe $500 or $1,000. You have to be fair, you have to be actually honest with them. Wallahu a'lam. Any question, Jama'ah? Abu Amr.
Sure. What about if you reach to them
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have even though in mind that they can go and they can get to America or anything? So you open this thing, so
Mm-hmm.
they are selling it in their local market
Mm-hmm.
for whatever the price in the local market, and
Mm-hmm.
you get it and you come back and you sell it somewhere else. That's one scenario. The other thing is,
Let me just answer this one. So for example, the Kashmiri guy didn't come to America. Instead, I flew there and I bought from him all the product that he has over there. I bought it for $1,000 and I brought it here for me to America for $20,000. Is that acceptable? Yes, because it's a different market now. It's a different market.
you are asking him that I'm going to be a broker, I'm going to sell it in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and I don't care, how much it's going to cost me or how much I'm going to sell it for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take your goodies, I'm going to take it to the United States, I'm going to take it somewhere, I'm going to make tons of money. This is how much I'm going to give you.
No, if you decide on a commission, there's difference between deciding on a commission, like saying, I'll sell it for you, I'll get 50%, 10%, 5%, versus telling the merchant, listen, I'm taking this right now, and I'll give you 1,000. So now you're not like partnering with him in that regard. You're just buying it from him on bid-in, just basically with paying him later. So that's a different story. Wallahu a'lam.
Scenario from here, Sheikh,
Uh-huh.
which is I face it myself. Selling sometimes something like somebody want to sell his car, and he doesn't know the market.
Okay.
People, they have access to the internet and everything, but they are not good in these things. And sometimes, I want to sell this car. How much it costs? I don't know. Just how much you're going to get for. And
Yeah, but this hadith doesn't apply to them. If someone doesn't know the price, the car price in the market right now, and someone tells you how much you want for your car, so I don't know. What do you think? How much does it cost? That's a different hadith. Another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ told a man who was always being deceived in the market, and people that take advantage of him. He said, every time you go and you deal with the people, tell them la khilaba, which means no cheating. So basically, on the promise that you don't cheat, because if they appear that the price was wrong and they cheated him with it, that statement becomes like a clause or like disclaimer that you can nullify the contract. Wallahu a'lam. Nah.
So taking the example of same concept. So you go to basically, let's say China, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're buying something. The guy actually knows the price where you're going to sell in the United States,
Mhm.
but he doesn't have the visa to come here and sell it. So
That's fine.
He has a restriction. So are you allowed to give him whatever you think is good?
That's a different market now, because now you're selling it you're buying it in the Chinese market.
Right.
If it comes here, that's a different market. He's the guy over there doesn't have a visa to come over here, but he has the option to deal with other people, right? So if he chooses to deal with you and you gave him a lower price, it's up to him to accept. Wallahu alam. Yes.
Like if someone is coming like from the US or to sell with the car using the time, so and he doesn't want to go through that hassle
Mm-hmm.
to stay for that many days and sell it, and you are saying that okay, it costs more.
Mm-hmm.
It's not telling the right price, but it costs more. But if you give it to me, you can go back and I'll sell it.
That's fair. Fair enough. Tell him, listen, I know that that's going to cost more if you take it to the market, but if you don't want to deal with it, give it to me. How much you want for it? So I want, for example, 10,000. I said, okay, I'll give you your 10,000. But then I go to the market, I sell it for 12,000, 15,000. And I get the profit on top of that. Wallahu
The
a'lam.
question is to reflect, tell him the price, what is going on in the market. Is it obligatory on us to basically explain it to the person?
Okay, is it obligatory on you to tell the businessman over here the market price or not? It depends. If you're going to be the broker versus you're going to be basically a merchant buying from him. If you're going to be working on his behalf, then you have to tell him the price. But if you're just buying from him, in this case you don't have to tell him the price. نعم والله أعلم. خير إن شاء الله. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.